Hard to see a community that once had streets where traffic flowed and kids played and people worked in their yards, and you're seeing nothing. There's nobody here. It's almost like, will they ever come back?
All weekend they ran from the river, stunned. The river rose to its record level, and then it kept going. Voluntary evacuations quickly became mandatory and then frantic. One neighborhood after the next, then the hospital, everyone out.
You're gonna have a nice low ride there, Billy.
The danger in staying became clear when flames suddenly rose from the downtown sky Saturday night. One small fire, unreachable in this flood, became an inferno. Firefighters and volunteers tried to push their way in through the current, swift, with undertows and sudden rapids, treacherous. In this, there was little they could do. The buildings still smolder today. The danger of fire here remains, and the water is ruining most everything it touches. It will be weeks before all the water is gone here, and months before it can be cleaned up enough for everyone to move back in.
I don't think there's really any words to describe it. It's just total devastation.
Craig Grabansky is a sheriff's deputy. Like so many rescue workers here, he too has a home submerged, a family trying to figure out what their life is going to be. This is his city, and he does not recognize it.
It doesn't seem real. It's not real. You feel like you're going to wake up and find that it's a bad dream.
What strikes you when you travel through here is that there are no voices, no sounds of life in a city. Just an odd and very sad silence. Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Grand Forks, North Dakota. Most has been surrendered to the flood here, but not everything.
This is Niagara 2 here.
At the telephone company, where floodwaters are still rushing in.
It's bubbling up through the floor.
It's starting to seep through the walls.
They are fighting to keep the water from sinking the city's telephone system. For 3 days, the river has been trying hard to take it.
Well, like Bob put it one day, we were in the emergency room on Saturday and Sunday. Now we're probably up in the intensive care.
Water has been pressing in from everywhere.
We finally had to bring sandbags on the inside because the pressure on the door started to work too much. We're staying here day and night. We've got sleeping quarters all over the place.
It is a risky fight. That they are winning is against all the odds.
I was amazed that the phone system was working, given the conditions here, given the fact that the infrastructure has been slowly crumbling under the onslaught from this water.
Even as the river advances, people are taking up the few positions that are left here to save what they can. Today, in the tiny part of the city not yet overtaken by the river, they are waging an all-out effort to hold back the water here to save their hospital. A mile-long dike they hope will divert the river away from here. It is their only hospital, evacuated days ago, but that, they say, was not a final surrender. At the sheriff's department, they pushed in to rescue their equipment from the river so they can keep going.
Get what we can, I guess.
If they lose to the river, at least, they say, they didn't surrender their spirit.
You think I should set the alarm? That's okay. You sure? Yeah.
They will hold on as long as they can.
Yeah, we're open. We're here. All right. See you. Bye.
Aaron Hayes, ABC News, Grand Forks, North Dakota.
There were 2,000 retail businesses in Grand Forks before the river forced its way into town. Now, almost all of them are closed. Their employees, thousands of people, will not be working for weeks.
Have you filed a claim for unemployment before?
No, I haven't. This morning, some of those displaced workers came to a temporary unemployment office to apply for benefits. The state expects that as many as 20,000 area residents will be going on unemployment.
It could be like everyone else, several weeks.
But some people, like house painter Rob Olson, can't afford to stay around while Grand Forks recovers. He's planning to move to Oregon.
Because I do love this city, you know, but it's going to be a mess for a long time to come, I think.
That's a concern for many employers, that workers now scattered by the flood will not return.
Unless you have jobs to go to, people could get some of their money and maybe move elsewhere.
Some businesses like Mary Ann Hastings Bakery could be ready to reopen soon, but she's not sure it would be worth it.
I'm not opening those doors till I have customers in the town. I'm guessing it's going to be a month or more. I mean, you got to do the cleanup. You got to have people in the city.
New businesses are particularly threatened. Steve Lunseth owns Atrix Software.
Here's a transceiver.
He's trying to restart in temporary space, but if he doesn't start making money soon, he'll need a loan that he can't afford.
We have other debt that we have to pay off. It's very difficult to turn around and add $100,000 or $150,000 of additional debt.
The river is finally giving back some of the flooded storefronts, but it will be days before the long and difficult job of rebuilding Grand Forks' economy can really begin. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Grand Forks, North Dakota.
The people we choose remind us in a very immediate way that the volunteer spirit is essential.
The water gives us a lot of things, but this year it finally took a lot of it away from us.
Bo Bateman knows the Red River very well. He and his family have farmed sugar beet along its banks for several generations. Otherwise, Bo is a volunteer member of the Grand Forks County Water Rescue Squad. What a week they have had. He and his colleagues have spent an average of 15 hours every day on the river. Bo Bateman and his friends have been looking for people who may have been left behind by the flooding and protecting neighborhoods from looters. How ironic that he has been traveling by boat up and down streets he's known all his life.
You know, it hurts to see these places that I've been to since I was knee-high getting hammered by something that we can't stop, no matter how hard we tried.
Bo Bateman and the other volunteers learned pretty quickly that they were not going to beat the river, but did they ever try?
1, 2, 3.
And one thing they will always remember is how this disaster brought out the best in people wherever the Red River flowed over its banks, through the northern plains and on into Canada.
Lawrence Sanlo from Winnipeg has some rooms for a family. He says pets are okay.
It is true that disaster so often brings out the best in people. In all the stories from North Dakota, we have not heard anyone complain that someone else didn't care. And 50,000 people is a lot of people in need.
Kitties!
There were other volunteers to care for the animals. A 30-member team from the Sacramento, California Emergency Animal Rescue Service showed up, knowing precisely what they had to do.
I had 12 cats in that shuttlecraft in the bags. I never knew what they meant by saying let the cat out of the bag till you go out on a rescue with the animal shelter people, and you got 13 orange bags that are all screaming at you.
Bo Bateman hasn't seen his two young kids since the first Grand Forks evacuation began, but he tries to talk to them every night so that they understand, for the future, how valuable it is to volunteer.
Well, I tried to tell them that I'm taking care of them and I'm taking care of their neighbors, taking care of their friends they go to school with. I'm trying to do what I can to help everybody out, and I think that they're realizing that, and there may be a lesson for them even though they're young.
John, the address? 4th Avenue?
When Bo and his fellow rivermen look back on this week from some date in the future, they will have stories to swap. Remember how that old guy didn't want to leave his plants until it was almost too late? The Red River flood of '97. Boy, the river really socked it to us that year. But they are a resilient lot, Bo Bateman and all the others.
Grand Forks will come back. We'll tame this river down. You know, it's like a bear. We put it to sleep in the wintertime. It hibernates under the ice. In the springtime, it wakes up. I guess this spring it was a lot hungrier than it's ever been before. But we'll tame it. We're going to take care of our riverside. That's going to be a great place to come and walk with your kids in about a year.
And so we acknowledge Bo Bateman and to emphasize all the others in Grand Forks who know how important it is to help their neighbors. They have made such a difference this week.
The end of the world. For a short time in the spring of 1997, it appeared to be at hand, brought down upon the people of the Red River Valley. Winter storms, water, fire. The elements themselves seemed to turn on humanity in Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, along with the rural areas and communities surrounding them. Drayton, Warren, Oslo, Pembina, and more. Never before had such an unbelievable combination of disasters been seen, not just in the Midwest, but anywhere in the United States. Even those who had witnessed countless scenes of destruction stood in awe of the flood of 1997. History was made day by unforgettable day. As with many epic tales, the story of the Great Flood of '97 began softly, with the innocence of a soft white November snowfall. In North Dakota and Minnesota, snow is a way of life. From November to April, the ground is white, and even the hardiest citizens complain good-naturedly of sub-zero temperatures, icy roads, and frustrating piles of snow. There's certain pride that the people of North Dakota and Minnesota take in being able to withstand northern winters. But the winter of 1996-97 was different. The year ended with a series of powerful blizzards. Snow depths inched to record levels, and winter ended with the worst ice storm in a half a century. A storm so powerful and destructive that it crippled the region, leaving tens of thousands without power and heat in temperatures that fell below freezing. By early 1997, the mood of the Red River Valley became one of genuine concern. In the southern end of the valley, flooding began to consume communities such as Wahpeton and Breckenridge. The floodwaters gained momentum and volume as they pushed toward Fargo. Inevitably, the sum of these floods raced northward to the cities of Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, the point at which the Red and Red Lake rivers meet. The people of the Red River Valley fought valiantly against time to prepare for the worst, but no one could have been ready for what came. A relentless, unfeeling, unstoppable torrent of water that engulfed everything in its path. Predicted crests were reached, then surpassed, and soon the predictions themselves became meaningless, changing by the hour. Nature defied science, and the waters of the Red rose without mercy. Dikes leaked, and some broke. Cities were evacuated. Brave warriors dropped their sandbags and became refugees, watching helplessly from afar as contaminated waters flooded their homes. They watched as downtown Grand Forks became a vision from Dante's Inferno, a paradox of destruction, at once submerged in murky floodwater and engulfed in flames. The images were surreal, the end of the world indeed.
Winter's everyday thing, you know. If you live in North Dakota, you're going to put up with winter, so.
Wind chill factors dipping down to 50 below zero put a stop to most activity in our region. Schools were closed for the second day in a row, and county and city offices shut down.
And once again, the region was blinded by the white of a blizzard. Also delayed interstate highway travel in and out of Grand Forks. Wind gusts of up to 50 miles an hour and falling snow made for near zero visibility.
Start into the flood itself. We're going to need to be producing bags as fast as we can make them.
Pembina County has 50 to 75,000 sandbags ready to fill, and another 25,000 will be ordered for homeowners.
I got a couple friends out here, and I got them to come out here, you know, just telling them, come save my house, you know.
Warren is already stockpiling sandbags, but these aren't volunteers hard at work. They're people who have been convicted of a crime and are helping the city through the Sentencing to Service program.
These are not hardcore prisoners. They're prisoners that are in anywhere from drunk driving to maybe other small offenses.
It's a good opportunity for us to get out and help the community, and I don't know, it goes pretty good out here. It's a lot better than sitting inside.
tough to even keep it on the road. I mean, it just wants to go all over.
It'd be best if they could stay off the roads because they are very treacherous. Even standing still, the wind could blow you on the ice.
We're well aware that there's an awful lot of our customers that are dependent on electricity to pump water and sump pumps at this time, so there's no real good time for an ice storm, but this is probably the worst, knowing that the customers are really in need of electricity at this time.
This is the worst that I have ever seen because of the power outages and the ice. I know people have been really feeling out of it because of the lack of heat.
From off in the distance, you can see the full scope of the damage. One power pole down after another in what looks like a domino effect.
Obviously, it's going to take us a while to get that many poles replaced, so we're looking at days to hopefully no longer than a week.
The worst part of an ice storm from our end of it is the helplessness. You know it's too cold out not to have electricity, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. We can't get this system put back together in one day. I wish we could.
You can't just throw it up on the pole, you got to get it out of the ice, and there's water everywhere.
That goes up now is concerned. So when it was forecast for another foot, that put a lot of strain on our dikes. We do have to be concerned, and so we are going to look for people that are going to be in low-lying areas that might have to evacuate and help those people where we can.
If we lost a dike, it would be a wall of water. Houses would not be standing. And to be in that position at nighttime where it's impossible to rescue someone, you're talking about life safety.
In the last 2 years, we've resided, put new windows on, did a lot of interior work and remodeling.
How does it make you feel to have to leave this now?
Very sad.
Really unhappy. It's scary. I've shed a few tears. It's hard. Yeah. I think the dike will hold. It's been here so many years, but I just rather not come back to nothing, so just in case.
A view of the Grand Forks Country Club south of the city, surrounded by water. A huge flow of water from the Red Lake River can be seen as it empties into the Red. The Kennedy Bridge, the only link still open between Grand Forks and East Grand Forks, was unaffected by the rising water. But farther upstream, the Burlington Northern Railroad Bridge was holding back a considerable amount of ice. The entrance to the Point Bridge, submerged in water on the East Grand Forks side, and the Koinonia Spiritual Center underwater.
Good luck. Hang on, because if all this water's coming your direction, just hang on, hang on.
They found an area that they felt was suspect, and they call it a transfer crack, which is a crack near the top of the dike. They saw some dirty water coming through there. They felt it was in the best interest of the citizens that we notify them to leave the Lincoln Park or the Lincoln Drive area at this time.
I was on my way out to Forks Rental to pick up a truck to come down here and tow things out, and got halfway out there and heard that there was a breach in the dike on Lincoln Drive, and they're evacuating everybody, so we hustled home and had trouble getting through the police at the end, but they finally let us in, and now we've been told that once we get out, we're out to stay.
I worry about the mental and physical condition of our people because this has been so long. However, the one thing that I did say last night is I want to avoid any fatalities at all costs.
The water along the dike is 2 feet higher than our floor is right now. If this
dike lets go, we'll be about a foot on the floor.
We're just trying to get everything up out of the way in case the water decides to come in here.
I don't think it's in us to sort of give it up. You know, too much of our life. The business has been around 60 years and there's a lot of our life in it, so certainly we want to do everything we can.
Mike, what can you tell us what's happening in East Grand tonight?
Jane, we're in the point area of East Grand Forks. As you can see behind us, this is the James Avenue Folsom Court area, and there is quite an effort going on here to try to preserve this dike and to preserve the lower end of this home. There's a chain of residents, citizens, maybe back 2-3 yards from an adjacent street, trying to keep this chain going. They've got pumps going. You can hear the spitting of water into the Red Lake River.
Please listen for evacuation notices. We do not want panic. However, it is for your security because the dikes are leaking and the water is rising faster than we can get a handle on. So we are trying to keep these dikes repaired. It's been an impossible task through the night.
First it was disbelief. I didn't believe that this area would be in the flood area. I had bought this place because it was on high ground near the river. So, I don't know, disbelief, and I'm just trying to get everything that we need and get moved on out of here.
My parents came in, they're like, wake up, but then I thought I was late for school, but then they're like, we have to go, and we all had to get all our stuff and pack up and leave.
Everyone living in this neighborhood, you need to evacuate. You need to evacuate this area.
Right now, we're planning on making it. They are patching, they are working, but the citizens do need to listen to us when we ask them to do something because we are thinking of their safety.
It's very hard. 23 years. It's just, what do you do? You just got to start over again. My family's safe. I'm not the only one in the boat. It's not like it's my catastrophe, it's everybody's.
Belmont Road is under, and went over to Riverside, and there are people, still trying to save homes and working, and talk to some of those people, and it grabs you. But they all still had their spirits up, even though things are, not very good right now, and just shook a few hands and told them keep the faith. We'll make it through with no loss of life.
South 12th Street and 22nd Avenue. As far as the eye can see, the water hasn't reached the first level of these homes. One National Guards person we spoke to said that most people have evacuated this area, but there are a few still sandbagging their homes.
Parking ramp actually up on the second level, just kitty corner, just down a block from it, and in fact it is burning so hot that you can feel the heat coming from the fire here. Firefighters are trying right below us to hook up a fire hose. They are having to dig down below the water and feel for it. It's just down a block at the old security building across from Merrill Lynch. The roof of the building has been burned off. You can see the flame coming through from a couple floors down. There's flames coming from the main level as well. Coming on almost every one of the windows, there are flames.
There's two people on the roof over there. No, over. No, you people. What? Hey. There was two people on the roof over here. There's two people on the roof? No, that was Pete and I. No, there's two others. Did they come down there? No, there's about 2-3 buildings over. On this roof? Not this roof, but on that white one. You guys know about the drop? Huh? You know about the drop? Yeah. You gotta be out of here in about 20 minutes. No problem, but there's two people on this roof. They go over there.
Hi.
Were you scared at all while you were waiting?
No, we were on the roof and we were watching the pink security building and Greg's Landing next to it burn.
You saw the whole thing?
We watched the wall fall, we watched all of it. We've been here since last night watching it on the roof. We watched
watch the dike go over all of it.
The first time that President Clinton has been to North Dakota. This was a hastily thrown together media event. We learned just yesterday, I believe, that the president was coming. The regular routine of credentials and all of that usually begins at least a couple of weeks before, but not this time.
I'm honored to be here, and when I saw pictures of some of you stacking sandbags in a blizzard, I thought that I had bad reception on my television at first. It was an amazing thing. I don't recall ever in my life seeing anything like this, and I have been very impressed by the courage and the faith that all of you have shown in the face of what has been a terrible, terrible dilemma. Today we saw, obviously, these two communities that have been so devastated, but we know that there is a lot of other loss in North and South Dakota and in Minnesota. We are going to do everything we can to move as quickly as possible, to do as much as can be done to help. Anyone who has been here and seen the destruction, as I have, knows that this is not an ordinary disaster, if there is such a thing. The people here are giving 100%, and we should too.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pride and honor that I'm able to introduce the President of the United States, President Bill Clinton.
We have all come, first of all, to see firsthand what it is you've been going through. Secondly, to pledge to do our part to help make you whole. And thirdly, to tell you that we're for you. We have hardly ever seen such a remarkable demonstration of courage and commitment and cooperation and basic human strength, and we are very impressed and proud to be Americans when we see what you have done in the face of this terrible disaster. I say again, I know there are short-term, immediate concerns. People who need a place to sleep, people who don't know where their next check is coming from, even people who don't have access to basic sanitary facilities except here on the air base. We are working to restore those things with your local community folks, and we had some specific talks about what we could do to get proper housing available while you're rebuilding your communities. That's up there. Anybody hurt? Well, we've had a fire, a flood, a blizzard. I guess we can take it, God. I saw something your mayor said the other day that struck me in particular. She said, what makes a community a place to live in is not the buildings, it's the people, the spirit and faith that are in those people. Water cannot wash that away, and fire cannot burn that away, and a blizzard cannot freeze that away. And if you don't give it away, it will bring you back better than ever, and we'll be there with you every step of the way. Thank you, and God bless you.
We're not refugees, we're survivors. or antique or names like that that have been around for a long time. We can still take that name and move it. It just has to be a different building, and probably it's time that they rebuild it. It becomes newer and nicer and a positive upbeat for the community.
Through flood and fire, the paper never missed a single issue. Since the flood, the Herald has been headquartered here at Manville Public School, about 10 miles north of Grand Forks. The school's computer lab is now the Herald newsroom. The band room is its photo department. The paper's administration works out of the library. Close quarters, much earlier deadlines, a newspaper reduced in size to one section of news and printed in St. Paul.
The worst thing that could have happened to us and to the community was for us not to come out, because by coming out as a newspaper, that meant that the flood could not defeat us and the fire could not defeat us, and that we could come back and we could come back from that, and if we could come back from that, everybody could come back from that.
That part there was a bedroom, and that was a closet. I don't know whose table that is. That kind of floated in and hung there. I've been down here a few times before since Monday, but I've never been able to get in the house because all the doors were jammed. I've been psyching myself up, so I realized, you know, that the place is a complete loss. Otherwise, who knows, I'd probably get sick.
Did you bring a flashlight?
Oh, it's in the car. Don't the lights work?
No.
There's a mission table I got for my wife. A year ago, Christmas, and we bought an oak table and a hutch. This thing here, I won at a carnival back in '48. The TV that we had downstairs is up on the neighbor's roof. I've resigned myself to the fact that it is gone.
Your room is just covered with
And,
ceiling.
you know, I'm just gonna have to
Okay, get in line, but mine looks, I mean, I have plastic.
realize and hope I can relocate in some place that this will never happen again. I'm just gonna walk away from it. You know, I've been there 25 years, and I guess that's the end of it. Boy. Oh.
First time I saw it, I laughed. Oh, it was pretty funny. I still think it's kind of funny. But, well, that might be the thing that pushes the damage estimates to a total, so it might be a blessing, I guess.
This was the kitchen. Kitchen was what we were gonna work on more so this summer. We were gonna refinish the cupboards and take down the paneling and put up wallpaper. We've been out of the house for almost 3 weeks, and try to prepare yourself with what might be here. But, you know, there's no possible way you can. The hardest thing to lose was just our lives, and you know, we were really, really happy here.
If I'd have known, I mean, I have another level, I could have gone higher, but I never thought, who'd ever dreamed that it would be this high over here? You know, I thought maybe my basement for sure, but not this high.
My first thought was I wanted to fix my home. My second thought is maybe these places should be condemned because I cannot imagine going through this a third time.
A friend of mine got into my place. I'm down in the Riverside area in Grand Forks, and he took a look, told me the water line didn't look too bad on my house. And we got in and checked the main floor, and my main floor is dry. But he also told me that my hot tub had floated up against my house. And I said, Dave, I don't have a hot tub. He said, well, you do now.
And I know we need to keep a sense of humor because we are going to have so many low points.
Most of the things that are worthless are worth more to some people than they are to others, so that's the hard stuff, is the sentimental stuff. Stuff you've put a lot of work into, and wedding stuff.
Over in Okinawa when we got this Papa-san chair. And there's a little footstool that goes with it that's someplace in this mess. It's hard, but there's nothing you can do about it. You can't clean it up, so might as well get rid of it.
And even my Bible that I got when I was confirmed, right here. I had that stored, and that's gone. Lots of memories. Lots of memories.
Debris is normally about the biggest job of any, whether it be tornado, hurricane, flood, whatever.
And it's long hours, but you got to do something. You know, most of us lost things, and we got to carry on. So
funny to see everything go, everything you had in your basement for years, but it's nice to get it out of here so you can just get everything started all over again and just kind of get on with everything.
And as you come in here to the office, desk is completely turned over, and all the chairs and everything in the office is completely gone. The paper's up in the ceiling, huh? I haven't even been down here. Let's go in these offices once. Ooh, here's another one, planning office. Oh, look at this stuff. Unreal. Estimate is over $1 million to fix it up, so we certainly have to look at building a new building. We go up, we close the Sorley Bridge at 47 feet. But notice how the chart had 52 feet. We never even thought we'd dreamed that we'd get that high. We topped the charts, and like we said, we went right through the roof.
Around the Milwaukee area, TV6 in Milwaukee, I guess they got on the, the news, and they took a donation, or were taking donations that come right to the TV station, and they had 5 tractor trailer loads from the Milwaukee area.
They just went through this a year ago, a little better than a year ago, and it wiped out the one part of the whole valley there in Williamsport, and we know what it's like to be wiped out. We had family that went through it and went through the flood, and so I know what it's like, basically, too.
We needed the water, so it's being distributed all over the city, and we've been the recipient of a lot of generosity. There's a lot that is needed. I've never seen anything like this.
I think it's amazing. It really is amazing.
They gave us boots and gloves, and then we brought a change of clothes.
You're ready to get down and dirty.
Yes, we're ready to help. Whatever needs to be done, we'll do.
Wonderful people, absolutely. We have more great people in the United States that come to help them. I don't know, more than we ever realized, I think.
I'm glad I can be up here to help, and I just can't imagine what these people are going through to come home and to see their houses like this. So what little we can do for a day, I hope it helps them.
There's elderly people out there trying to do it themselves. They're hale and hearty, but a lot of it is more work than they can handle, especially when it gets like hauling water heaters out or washers and dryers. I mean, that's physical labor. We've got, like I say, all kinds of groups coming in that will do that.
I've seen just unbelievable numbers of teenagers come through here with just a great attitude and a great thirst for life, you know, that they just really want to help people. I have not run across one volunteer that was not ready to just give it 110%, you know, all day long down in a muddy basement, you know, shoveling dirt, whatever we may need.
The Dubuque Holy Trinity Youth Group loaded up their gear and headed up north.
I knew people up here, and I've been through a small flood in my old town, and I really wanted to help. I mean, I heard about all the damage that had been done, and I really wanted to be sure that people were all right up here.
I wanted to be my class, then I went to my school, then it went to different schools and then I went to some schools in Salem. I wondered about like 200, but then we got over 200, like say 3,000 toys, and then we have $30,000. Whoa, look at this! Where did you get all this?
They come from the students in the Arbor Park School District in Oak Forest, Illinois, collected during a special flood relief week for Grand Forks.
It's just tremendous. I mean, it makes you cry every time you drive around and see stuff. It really does.
Do you know where you're going to live yet?
No, I want to move back to East Grand Forks, though.
Why?
It's my home. And I miss it.
We've been waiting some long while for this, and let me show the mayor the signatures on a piece of legislation that will unlock the gates here for the resources necessary for rebuilding and recovery.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I just have a whole new respect for our cities. They just are coming back, they're seeing their homes, and they're digging in, and they're cleaning up, and the business is the same. So I just want to say how proud I am of this community.